As I tell people all the time, stay in your lane. This is an example of what happens when you try to argue from a PDF. This is an example of what happens when you try to argue from books and texts that you haven't read. This is what happens when you try to argue a culture that is not yours. And if you claiming the culture to be yours and you making these statements, it's going to show you to be fugazi. Now, everything I use is going to be what was given to me. So I'm going to use each one of his references to the source, and we're going to teach him something. I'm going to be nicer than I actually should have been. All right. Couple minutes. One time for the Wikipedia scholars. Since you want to bring it from Wiki, let's read what Wiki says. So it says the Yamasis were a multi-ethnic confederation of Native Americans who lived in the coastal region of present-day northern coastal Georgia, near the Savannah River, and later in northeastern Florida. Okay, so they're multi-ethnic. It's a multiple people that make up what we know as Yamasi. Okay, now it gives you the ethnic groups. So you have Latama, Wale, Seminole, Hichiti. So it says that the Yamasis, along with the Wale, are considered from linguistic evidence by many scholars to have been a Muskogee language people. For instance, the Yamasi term Miku, meaning chief, is also common in Muskogee. Okay. So it says that the Yamasis lived in coastal towns in what are now southeast Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. The Yamasis migrated from Florida to South Carolina in the late 16th century, where they became friendly with European colonists. The Yamasi were joined by members of the Guale, a Mississippian culture chiefdom, and their cultures intertwined. So the Yamasi are not one people, but they mix. But those people who weren't one people mixed with the people named Wale, a different people, right? Let's keep going. So right here it says, starting in 1675, the Yamasis were mentioned regularly on Spanish mission census records of the missionary provinces of Wale and Mocoma. The Yamasis did not convert to Christianity and remained somewhat separate from the Catholic Christian Indians of Spanish Florida. Okay, let's go down some more. Let's see what this say. All right. So it says Christian missionaries in Carolina may have had some success in converting the Yamasi and Wale because they both had become familiar with Spanish missionaries and were more open to conversion than other tribes. Okay. Let's keep going. So what we're seeing is that these are two different people. Check this out. So this is talking about the groups. This is talking about slavery, all this good stuff. So let's see what it says about Wale. All right. So it says during the late 17th and early 18th century, Wale society was shattered by an extensive epidemics of new infectious diseases and attacks by other tribes. Some of the surviving remnants migrated to the mission areas of Spanish Florida, while others remained near the Georgia coast. Joining with other survivors, they became known as Yamasi, an ethnic mixed group that emerged in the process of ethnogenesis. So it says here, perhaps 1700 perhaps became Yamasi. So originally, these people were not Yamasi. Now, here's what it says. It says, scholars have not reached a consensus on how to classify the Wale language. Early claims that Wale spoke a Muskogean language were questioned by the scholar William C. Servant. He has shown that recorded vocabulary, which sources had believed to be Wale, was Creek, a distinct Muskogean language. So what people, now let's go back. They say they believe that the Wale and the Yamasi spoke the same language because of the term Miku. But if you read my video, I explain just how the Wale got the term Miku. I explain migration. See, this is something that people who aren't Yamasi or Wale don't understand. They don't understand migration. And challenging the wrong person in the wrong arena, they leave with their asses hanging out. I don't know. This guy tagged me in the post. and he says all the same people, Wale origins. So he's talking about the Wale and Yamasi being one and the same. Now, what he doesn't understand is eventually they became one and the same by name. But he doesn't understand some things, and he posted some things without knowing the culture. And like this, watch this. How it says like the Yamasi along with the Wale are considered from linguistic evidence by many scholars have been Muskogee language people, right? And he also posts this. Now I'm going to show you where he fucks up. This is why this is not for children. I'm going to show you exactly where he messes up. Now he tags me in this post. This post is a PDF. I already have the PDF. Now he posted this, and he's stating that these are the same people. But this is what he missed. Watch this. I'm going to show you here. This is a PDF. This is the screenshot. Bam. So it says, it has been thought by recent investigators that the people of Wale and the Yamasi were identical, but facts contained in the Spanish archives show that this is incorrect. So you said that they were one and the same, but a PDF you literally posted, right, says the complete difference. And I'm telling him he did not read the book. Here he goes again, right? It's talking about Confederacy. And I'm letting him know. Now, this is one thing he didn't touch on. When he talked about the Wale, right? He didn't read this part. When it talks about, it says, scholars have not reached a consensus on how to classify the Wale language. Early claims that the Wale spoke a Muskogean language were questioned. And it says that they were shown that recorded vocabulary, which sources had believed to be Wale, were Muskogee. So they weren't even the Wale language. In fact, they were Muskogee. So I have to ask him, when do you want to go live? He posts this. Their 1716 assimilation into the multi-ethnic Cool. Cool. We know the Yamasi were made up of multiple people. I state this all the time. Even the Timucua were made up a part of what was known as the Yamasi. Now, here's my work, right? This is from 2 months ago. Read this. It says the reason for the clear absence of the name Yamasi from any of the earliest Spanish or French accounts of the Southeast is of course quite simple. The group eventually known as Yamasis did not even exist until the 16th century. So who are we talking about? When we talk Wale, right? When we talk this Wale shit, bro, we not talking about just the 17th century. You get what I'm saying? We not talking about just the 17th century. But this is what they want you this is what they want you to believe. They don't have this form of information, bro. Trust me. These people not ready for this type of shit, bro. They're not ready for this type of shit, bro. Because if he was, he wouldn't be making these statements, right? Let me show you something. He says, regardless, they're all the same people. So how are they the same people if what he posted to be fact is literally states they're not the same? And this is what I tell people all the time. You can't argue from a PDF. I know you didn't read the PDF. When people post all this shit, even the Jack D. Forbes, people post that shit and don't actually have the text. So what did we speak about last night here on Instagram? What we talked about? We was like, man, listen, I did not read it. So if you did not read it, how can you make this statement? Regardless, they are all the same people. I did not read it. This is not someone who's ignorant because they don't know. This is someone who chooses to be ignorant. Bro didn't even take his time to read the PDF. Son didn't even take his time to read the shit that he was using to show his proof. When I already knew where to go to highlight what you were talking about. I have it. I've been at it. This is what happens when you Google Scholar. This is Google Scholarship at its finest. So I ended up waking up early this morning, checking my social media and look at what we found. This guy decides to comment again. But he commented this same post on my post. So let's see how this goes. I'll even take you all to it so we can see. But this is an issue. So God says 7th, 8th, ninth grandparents, Ellen Proctor, Indian name, Shahoka, Lewis Proctor, full blood, Muskogee Creeks. This guy then says, Mom, here's Lewis Proctor, 8th great grandfather. He was born 1839. Keep this date in mind. Okay? How is Lewis Proctor's great granddaughter 34 years older than Lewis Proctor? How is Matilda older than Lewis Proctor? Now we go over, he says, full blood Cherokee. Here goes the Proctor again. Notice his 8th great grandfather, right? Proctor, this guy right here. So now you're full blood Cherokee. But let's see what the P-Dub say. P-Dub says, okay, well, Shahoka Proctor was duly enrolled, full blood citizen of the nation, right? So it says, and duly enrolled as such opposite, boom, 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 the approval roll said Creek Nation. The reason thereof she had allotted to her as her share of the tribal lands of said Creek Nation, the following described lands blank. So they give her lands that this woman's supposed to have had in the Creek Nation, right? And here goes Ellen Proctor. Here goes Ellen Proctor name here, right? Here goes her Creek Road number. Here goes her daughter. So this is dealing with the Muskogee, right? It says she was Creek Nation. What happens when you say Sarah Proctor was full blood Cherokee? But sir, I thought she was just full blood Muskogee. Now let's get to Ellen, right? Ellen says 1838. Now go down, you see Matilda. Matilda, the great granddaughter, again, is somehow older than Ellen. And then the great great granddaughter, Elizabeth Butler, is also older than Ellen. So at what point did Ellen give birth to? Here's the dagger. Remember we were talking about Nancy, right? Here's the dagger. Let me take you back here. Nancy Ann Butler under Lewis. This is Nancy right here, Nancy Ann. How did Shahoka give birth to a woman that's almost 50 years older than her? 1775. If you were born in 1830, how did you give birth to someone that was born 1775? This is the line of genealogy. Joseph Proctor, son of Nancy Ann, is also older than Shahoka Proctor. Joseph Proctor, right, the second, is also older than Shahoka Proctor. Now, there's an issue. You saying that these is full-blood Cherokees, bro. We not doing that, brother. These is the full-blood Cherokees that he wants us to believe. Now, this is the guy who's supposed to be enrolling Piscataway. Look at these dates. He's supposed to be enrolling Piscataway, but now all of a sudden, when we show him that he doesn't know much about the Guale or the Yamasee, he's all of a sudden full-blood Cherokee with these badass dates. Because right here, 41, your dates are all wrong. This is what happens when you lie about your genealogy. So not only did he get taught that he didn't know shit about the Guale, right? He also got shown that his genealogy is incorrect. But is this not what I said previously or earlier? He didn't read that PDF and he got showed he didn't read it. He also played with his genealogy and we proved that he played around. So what I need y'all to do, start exposing this shit, man. And like and subscribe to this channel. We need all of y'all support. Let's get it.